Gal Gadot is considered the best co-actress in Hollywood, and her co-actor and actress really enjoyed working with her.
Tired, and she asked if we wanted coffee, and I was expecting someone to walk in with coffee. She went and she made the coffee herself.
But the past few years have been crazy. She got Rachel Zegler, and they got together in a major Disney production. Does that sound like a dream to you? Well, if you think so, it's pretty much wrong, because behind the scenes of Snow White 2025, it's a completely different story. This film has been making waves for all the wrong reasons lately, with Disney surviving not just creative and financial challenges but a growing clash between its two leading stars. Let's dig into what's really going on and why Gal Gadot has a lot to say about the movie and her co-star. First off, Disney's been struggling. We're talking about a company scrambling to recover from a string of flops across its divisions. Marvel, Lucasfilm, and even those live-action remakes, they're so fun. Enough Snow White was supposed to be a big win, but instead it's spiraling into what feels like an endless pit of drama. Add reshoots to the mix, probably done in early December, and you can already tell this production has been through a lot of missteps. Now Gal Gadot, the Wonder Woman icon herself, isn't one to shy away from speaking her mind. It's clear she's not thrilled with how things are unfolding, but here's where it gets juicy. A lot of this tension stems from her co-star Rachel Zegler. Rachel's been stirring the pot on social media, posting her personal points of view on real-world issues and tying them back to the film in a way that's rubbed Gal and others the wrong way.
She's in this $400 million catastrophe called Snow White, and I'm sorry.
According to insiders, Gal found these posts not just unprofessional but downright offensive, especially since Rachel refused to take them down despite complaints. The situation led to heated arguments between the two, and that was rather controversial and damaging for their upcoming film. And
Disney, I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at this, they have screwed this pooch in the same way they did The Little Mermaid. Because nobody looked at Halle Bailey with the way they made her look in that movie as a young black woman and said she looked like Ariel.
But the drama doesn't stop at social media. Things took a sharp turn during filming, particularly in a scene that had Gal and Rachel working closely together. This wasn't just any scene. It was supposed to be the most heart-wrenching moment, featuring Snow White and a group of new characters called the Outsiders going head-to-head with Gal's evil queen. Sounds epic, right? Well, not quite. Turns out it was the worst shoot ever. Rachel reportedly insisted on doing things her way, which dragged the process out to an exhausting 15 takes for Gal. The pressure was overwhelming. Test audiences weren't impressed either, pointing out major flaws in the sequence. Gal, who shared a solid rapport with director Mark Webb, decided enough was enough. The girl is forced to have the scene cut entirely, calling out its flaws and making her case directly to the PO. That being, guess what? Disney agreed and brainlessly tossed the scene into the bin. Now, if you think Rachel took this well, think again. Losing what she considered one of her best scenes didn't sit well with her, and the tension between her and Gal escalated further. Sources say the relationship between two has hit rock bottom, with Gal making it crystal clear that she won't share a stage or even a screen with Rachel outside the film. Scheduled interviews with Vanity Fair and The View were canceled entirely because G refused to appear alongside her co-star. That's not just professional boundaries, it's a full-on standoff. And let's be real, this isn't just a Gal versus Rachel issue, it's a reflection of the chaos brewing within Disney as a whole. The studio is doubling down on its current strategies despite repeated failure, and projects like Snow White are paying the price when you throw two strong personalities into a mix already laden with financial stress, creative clashes, and public scrutiny. It's bound to get messy. Gadot's stand regarding the situation is not clear at all. On one hand, she's standing up for herself, refusing to be dragged into unnecessary controversies. On the other end, her actions, like influencing Mark Webb to cut Rachel's scene, show she's not afraid to wield her influence when she believes it's warranted. Love her or hate her, you can't deny she knows her worth and isn't afraid to fight for what she thinks will make the movie better.
This is what you're getting now with Rachel Zegler. She is coming off of a multitude of theatrical failures that people just simply are not watching.
If anything, it's escalating to a point where even the possibility of them reconciling feels like a distant dream. Industry insiders say these two aren't likely to patch things up, not during the film's production and probably not even after it's released. The situation is so charged that Disney executives seem more focused on damage control than the actual creative process. Things get even crazier at this point because Disney is desperate to release Snow White at the proper release date. No more delays, they've already pushed it back enough and missed the deadline, which was somewhere last year. Think about the financial and logistical nightmare that comes up with shifting a movie's production from spring to summer. It's not just a calendar adjustment, it's an entirely new playbook for reaching audiences. Seasonal factors, public interest cycles, and even competitor releases all come into play. Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, isn't taking any chances. Reports suggest he tried to pull the reshoot forward from early December to late November to keep everything on track, but with the price of $25 million for the reshoot alone, it's clear that this movie is becoming a money pit and adds to the chaos. Rachel Zegler isn't thrilled with these changes. Her frustration isn't just about the logistical shifts, it stems from knowing that much of this upheaval started with Gadot speaking up about the film's flaws. Rachel takes this as a clear-cut challenge to her contributions, and it's only fueling the beef between the two stars. Here's where things get even murkier. Rushing through these reshoots could spell disaster. When a production prioritizes speed over quality, you start to see cracks both on screen and off. Now everything is bad for the movie: exhausted actors, lame and weak performances, and a weird plus boring final product. And let's face it, audiences can clearly detect when the heart and soul aren't in it. It's that intangible quality that makes or breaks a movie, and Disney is gambling big by trying to force this film across the finish line.
It seems like this film has done nothing but cause controversy ever since it was announced. It's insane to see Disney doubling down on this despite what it's going to cost them financially and with their reputation.
But this whole fiasco isn't just around the actors or reshoots, etc. It's also about the very core of what Snow White represents. Disney's W promotion has already created a backlash by tempering the 1937 classic. Fans of the original feel betrayed, seeing the changes as unnecessary and hateful inputs rather than meaningful additions. The audience who love the timeless story and characters are speaking out with frustration at what they see as a prioritization of corporate messaging over genuine storytelling. Well, do not ignore the elephant in the room. Disney's push for DIY diversity, equity, and inclusion in ESG, environmental, social, and governance strategies has become controversial when audiences feel they are shoehorned into projects at the expense of authenticity. The idea of diversity is celebrated when it flows naturally through the narrative, but forcing it into the story for the sake of optics, that's where the backlash starts. Bob Iger's recent comments defending these decisions have only added fuel to the fire, setting critics on fire who believe storytelling should come first. This creative tug-of-war between respecting the original and introducing modern themes has put Snow White in a precarious position. Disney is trying to walk a tightrope balancing its corporate vision with audience expectations, and so far it's been a wobbly act. Du's insistence on cutting flawed scenes, Rachel Zegler's frustrations, and the broader production challenges are all symptoms of a deeper problem. A studio unsure of how to reconcile its past with its future, so as we wait to see how things work for Disney, Gadot and Rachel Zegler, whether Disney can pull it together remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, so much tension is already brewing under the surface. What do you think about this drama? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more crazy videos on Disney and woke actors and actresses. See you in the next video.